Hello, everyone, and welcome to Elvis Fans Matter. I think we going to talk about Al Strada a little bit.
We've been asked. We've been asked about questions about Al.
And Al was, he was a very unusual character.
Unique.
Good guy, really good guy. But he was, he was Al.
Elvis would call him two-step.
Yeah.
Because Elvis said Elvis was crazy about Al. He would say, I can tell Al something I want done or ask him to get me something. He said it's like two steps and he's either gone or he's back.
Yeah. And Al took care of Elvis's stage wardrobe, and believe me, boy, he had a couple of cases that were about that wide and about that long, enough for each jumpsuit to fit in. And he would pack Elvis's jumpsuits and some extra pajamas and clothes, and he always done a real good job. Always took his job serious. And but Al, he was not one like a comic. He was more serious.
He was a serious type. He was funny as he could be. But
he was funny, but he didn't. He
carry on.
Wasn't trying to be. He was just funny,
But he didn't carry on a bunch of nonsense.
No.
Al. Al told me. I used to sit and talk with Al a lot when we were waiting for them to get ready to go or do something. And Al told me that he was drafted in the I guess Army. I'm not sure what branch, but he said he did not want to go because he was a mama's boy, and he said he was crazy about his mother. He'd do anything for his mother, and he said that when he had to go, he went to Vietnam. So he's a veteran. He's a Vietnam veteran, and so I think he had to stay 18 months in Vietnam. I'm not sure exactly how long, but he was in the actual action, the fighting, and he said that he went and he was on a maneuver that
helicopter. He was a rescuer.
Yeah, he was on a helicopter, and I'll never forget this. I thought, my God, how in the world did you ever? And I asked him that, but he said they were picking up wounded, and he said he was leaning over looking out to make sure that they were clear and that they had gotten them, and the helicopter swerved and Al fell out on his head. And I always said, well, I'll aggravate him. I said, if you hadn't fell on your head, it probably would have hurt you really bad. And he would just laugh. I said, what in the world? He said, I had to lay there with the wounded and dead all night until the helicopter came back, because they had already loaded up the wounded and left, and it came back, and when it came back,
he said still a lot of firing still going on. There's a lot of battling still going on at the time.
Yeah.
And he said he had to lay there.
He said
he said almost all night to daybreak. And he said, I'm gonna tell you, he said, I was so scared, and he said, I never moved a muscle.
Yeah. I mean,
he said, I laid there.
So he is really a hero for, but I always admired him about that. And another thing, he took care of his mother, and he just loved his mother, and he had one brother that he was so crazy about, and I think his name was George.
George. So too.
George would sometimes come to Memphis and stay with him when we were home, but he saved every bit of his money, he told me, and when he got out, he bought a house. I think, I'm not positive, but I'm thinking it It was property with 2 houses on it, and he gave it to his mother. And he said, I want her to be able to not ever have to worry and never have to work or anything. So he bought that house for his mother. And I know he wouldn't let anybody stay there except George. Except George. And when Elvis gave everybody cars and Cadillacs and everything like that. Well, he gave Al a Seville, like he gave Charlie, you know, the little one that
Cadillac Seville.
Cadillac Seville. It was a smaller type, but it was a beautiful car. Al took it straight to California and left it with his mother.
Yeah.
And I thought, that is so, you know, he was crazy about his mother. And I saw pictures of him on Facebook later, after, you know, a long time later, after we've all gotten older and everything. And his mother was, he was with his mother. But I thought that was just so, you know, great that he did and looked out for her. And I'm not sure, but I think she's passed away now. And Al is one that you don't ever hear him, you know, saying anything or being trying to get publicity or anything like that. I know Billy was with him. Elvis had given him a guitar, hadn't he?
Yeah.
One of the guitars. And
I mean, a very expensive guitar. Somebody, the company that made it, sent it to Elvis, and Elvis, you know, he liked it, but you know, he was with the Gibson. You know, Gibson had always been, you know, kind of sponsored Elvis, you know, in a lot of things and all, and so Al was looking at it, he said, "Man, that is pretty." And,
yeah, he was admiring it.
Yeah, and Elvis said, "You like it?" And Al said, "Man, yeah, that is a pretty guitar." He said, "It's yours." So he gave it to Al, and later Al, you know, Al couldn't play a guitar. He just was admiring it, and so Al, after Elvis's death and all, Al sold the guitar and all, and got money for it, and I think he sent some of that money to his mother.
He took care of his mother. Al was just a great guy, all around guy.
Yeah.
Just you know, got along with everybody. If one thing about Al, if he liked you, you knew it. If he didn't like you, you knew it. Thank goodness he liked us. And we liked Al. He was a great guy.
I used to get tickled at him because one thing he'd always say, you know.
Yeah. I know what you're going to say.
He'd say, "Al, did you do that?" And Al would say, "I didn't."
I didn't. I didn't.
I didn't. That's what he'd always say that every time.
I didn't.
And we'd always aggravate him. What do you mean, I didn't? I mean, did you or didn't you?
I didn't.
But he was
he got along, you know, and he was spot on. He just Elvis was crazy about Al and depended on him a lot.
And I don't know how he met him
he met him through Ricky, I think, out in California.
Out in California.
I think he was one of the security guards or something around in I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not positive, but I think he was security or something in Bel Air, and he met Ricky.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. It was
Bel Air?
Hillcrest Home, I think.
Oh, okay.
I believe now. I'm not sure.
I don't know why I had my thoughts thinking about Rocka Place, but it probably wasn't Rocka Place.
No, it was. We wasn't with.
No,
Elvis
we
at that
weren't
time,
with him
so.
when he hired
He
out.
had that.
Oh, and I know what else I was going to tell about
Hillcrest Home. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Monorail
I
or
don't know. Sure, I'm not sure either.
I know the first time I met Al, Billy was up there with Elvis, and we were going to the movie, and I was at home. I stayed behind, and I was getting ready at home, and I told Billy, I said, "I'll just drive my car and meet you at the theater." And so Al rode to the movie with Billy in Billy's car. So we drove up about the same time, and Billy had asked Al. He said, "Well, have you met any, nice looking girls or anything here yet?" And Al said, "No, but one just drove up over here that I could be interested in." And Billy looked over and he said, "Well, you can get uninterested because that happens to be my wife." And Al told me that a jillion times. He said, I was trying to pick you up on the first time."
He was a good person.
Al was always a good person.
Well, I tell you, with that, I guess we better wind this one up. And
Al,
my old buddy,
we'd love to see you or hear from you.
And what do we always say? Elvis
fans matter.
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.